This week is big oil. This is their earnings. They're going to come out. Everyone's looking at dividends. They're looking at how much production they're going to have to pare back. What's your expectation? How quickly do we pare back production? What's the bottom?
Well, we've probably pared back in the U.S. somewhere around 2 million barrels per day at this point. But I think the key point is over the next 3 to 4 weeks, the world's going to hit storage capacity constraints and really test those nameplate capacities. When they do that, once you hit those capacity limits, supply has to equal demand no matter what globally. That's when you're going to see the really large production cuts happen. So it will unlikely be in those past numbers, but it's likely coming in, I would say, the next 2 to 3 weeks. So, what's happening at Cushing is going to extend and become much of a bigger global phenomenon. I'm not arguing you're going to see the same, price volatility that you saw in WTI last week in Brent and these other markets, because Brent's a waterborne crude. But I think the key message here is we're not out of the woods yet. This inflection phase that we're in will likely last 3 to 4 weeks in oil. At which point, when you get to June, this market may likely be in a deficit because, remember, you're shutting that supply down. Demand is improving. Peak lockdown has passed us. We think peak lockdown was a few weeks ago. So a deficit market will likely be reborn again sometime in the late spring, early summer. But it's still too early to buy.
So before we get there, how much volatility and spikes to the downside then do you expect?
Oh, I think it's going to be a very violent rebalancing process. I mean, you look at it today, we're heading back down again. Because what you need to do is every time the system bumps up against, whether if it's transportation, processing, or, storage capacity constraints, these prices need to spike to the downside to take that supply out of the market until finally you rest at the bottom and all that supply has been taken out. So expect lots of volatility, big spikes to the downside. But when they go down there, as soon as the supply is cut out, you free off the pressure and boom, they pop back up. I mean, these spikes could be, 30, 40% up and down.